Previously on the Rod Pedersen Show.
I don't know how many of you watched the hit, and Darren and I kicked this around before the show. Like, how many of our viewers saw Simone Lawrence, the Ticats linebacker, hitting, my God, my favorite pro football player? I like Cody Fajardo even more than Tom Brady, the quarterback of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. I love him. But Simone Lawrence hit him right here in the back of the neck, and thank God Cody was fine, probably because he plays on God's team, and I mean on Team God. That's why he was fine. But I'm saying Simone Lawrence running around, hitting quarterbacks in the head. It's not new. And I saw the panelist, David Sanchez, going, well, the other defender had his hand on Simone. You know, it wasn't really. He knew what he was doing, okay? Stop. This isn't the first time that he's done it. He's a head-hunting linebacker. And as long as the CFL doesn't do anything about it, we have a phrase in the recovery world that says, nothing changes if nothing changes. As long as Simone Lawrence is able to run around and hit quarterbacks in the head, he scrambled Zach Caleros' notes. Thank God he came back to play and become the top player in the league. But Darren, do you think Thursday Simone Lawrence will be hearing of a fine for the Hamilton linebacker for his hit on Cody Fajardo?
Yeah, I could see it. I don't think we'll see a suspension. I think we could see a fine for sure.
Get ready for the Rod Pedersen Show.
Nathan Rourke, cool, Ohio Bobcat alum. We had him on the show, and he seems like another Joe Burrow. He's not the next Joe Burrow, but I'm just saying he's very mature, stoic, serious. He seems like the kind of quarterback you want leading your football.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Hello, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the Rod Pedersen Show. We're coming at you live on Game Plus Television across all 10 Canadian provinces and 31 U.S. states, including the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida, where I am broadcasting from. And coming up on today's program, we have from Saga 960, all news radio in Mississauga, our good friend Mike Richards. That's in Hour 1. And in Hour 2, coming up from SiriusXM NFL Radio, the great Zig Fracassi. And joining us right now, right off the hop, is our lovely and talented, as we always say, co-host and boss, Darren Moose Dupont, who joins us from the NHL Bermuda Triangle. And it's a day where, Moose, we're coming off a night of no Stanley Cup playoff hockey, but as my phone was ringing off the hook this morning with text messages, because people now know don't ever call Rod, he won't answer. It was all, are you watching this junior hockey? Are you watching this World Women's Hockey? A lot of hockey going on that did not have the three letters NHL on Monday night.
Yeah, a ton. It's a great night for hockey. And you know what? And I don't know if this is on purpose, but man, I hope it is, that those other organizations, the Western League, CHL, and the International Federation, realized this is a night off in the NHL. We can get some attention, and they sure did.
Seems like they did. Yes, absolutely. So let's not belabor it. Can you hit the quick six show horn, please, Director Jordan? As we have already mentioned who the guests will be. We have breaking news right out of the gate, right off the hopper here. Within the last half hour, this came down from the Canadian Football League head office in downtown Toronto. Led by Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke, the BC Lions swept top performer honors for Week 1 of the 2022 CFL season. Running back James Butler and defensive back TJ Lee were also honored for their contributions to the Lions' season-opening 59-15 rout of visiting Edmonton on Saturday. I will just say Rourke was 26 of 29 passing for 282 yards and 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions in his first game as the Lions' full-time starter. So I had other items lined up on the Quick Six, but this came down this morning with a lot of football fans watching, a lot of CFL fans watching. And I will just say this, it's been 1 week for Nathan Rourke. Talked about him he was in the intro of the show. I would advise people to pump the brakes. They're talking about him setting records. He was responsible for 5 touchdowns the other night. You brought that up on yesterday's show. But I will never, ever, ever forget the coming out party, if you will, which I don't even really know what a coming out party is, but they sound fun. Jonathan Jennings, when he was the quarterback for the BC Lions, who started with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, I might add, had one of those coming out parties against the Roughriders at BC Place. I'll never forget. He threw 4 touchdowns. He was from Saginaw Valley State. I got a story about Jonathan Jennings in his time with the Riders. I love that kid. But as against the Riders, he threw 4 touchdowns. He caught one. Do you remember that? And the next morning, I picked up the Vancouver Province. I picked up the Vancouver Province on my way out of town and read Ed Willis's column, and he goes, just like Bruce Springsteen at Madison Square Garden in 1983, I've seen the future. And his name's Jonathan Jennings. And I think that was like the last good game Jonathan Jennings ever had. So I'm not saying that Nathan Rourke will go that route, or he might become the next Bruce Springsteen. I don't know. But he's like the number one topic coming out of the Canadian Football League in week 1. Is it too much? Are they putting too much pressure on the kid, Moose?
Probably. Still young. This is his second year with the team and didn't play, have a lot of success in year 1. So, yeah, probably too much pressure on him. But if he lives up to it, it's great. So we've seen him take these massive strides. I think it's awesome. We should celebrate it. But you're right. We should keep the expectations tempered a little bit. He's not going to do this. He's not going to likely win the most outstanding player in the league this year. But it is a cool story.
Sure. And another one is Jonathan Jennings. I was flying to Florida for a Rough Riders mini camp in Bradenton. And I was in the airport connecting in Detroit. And also on that flight was Ivan Goodfriend, the Hall of Fame athletic therapist of the Rough Riders. And Jonathan Jennings came up at the departure gate. I was wearing a Rough Riders windbreaker. And he goes, Jonathan Jennings, Saginaw Valley State. I'm coming to your camp. And I'm like, well, pleased to meet you, young man. But I'm just the radio guy. Why don't you come meet the athletic therapist, Ivan Goodfriend? I'm like, hey, Ive, this guy's Jonathan Jennings. He's going to be in our camp. And I was like, good luck. Walked away. Couldn't be less impressed. Anyways, I love Jonathan Jennings. He's a good guy. Okay, on to the rest. Number 1, the Toronto... Hit the horn again, Jordan, please, if you don't mind, because I was still stuck on breaking news. Thanks. Point 1, the Toronto Blue Jays, coming off a 19-hit attack and 11-1 rout of the Baltimore Orioles last night, will be looking to keep the momentum going later today when they face the Orioles in the second contest of their 4-game series at Rogers Center. Lefty Yusei Kikuchi will be on the mound for Toronto, while Baltimore will counter with righty Jordan Lyles. Jays have won 14 of the last 18. So on the Toronto Blue Jays, by the way, who are clearly on a tear, who was never concerned when they were in that swoon in late May? This guy. So this morning, interestingly enough, yeah, this guy. You weren't concerned either, though, were you, Moose?
No, I wasn't.
No. They've got the power. They've got the talent. Apparently, they've got the managing. Everything's great with the Toronto Blue Jays. Let's just sit tight. But you were going to ask me what they were talking about on Miami Sports Radio today, and I'm going to tell you. It was the NFL, Jim. But they brought up the Marlins, and they just said, hey, when we get into the summer and there's not much going on with the Dolphins and, the Heat are done, and we'll talk about the Marlins then. Because I'm like... Okay, you say that, but I bet you won't, because it's just NFL, NFL, NFL. So is there a groundswell in Canada? I mean, I'm coming back there next week for the summer. Is there a groundswell? Are you hearing any talk of the Blue Jays in the Great White North, Moose?
Yeah, I'm seeing it more and more. And when I go out, I'm seeing more logos, and I'm seeing it more on social media. So I think it's starting to pick up, and really the Jays get hot when we get towards the end of June into July around here, for sure.
Speaking of hot... If you have air conditioner problems, I see it's warming up there in the rectangle and across the Canadian prairies. You're going to want to give Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling a call. They'll come out very likely same day to schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services. Call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. And they're hiring, by the way, for a variety of jobs. Bronco Plumbing. Give them a call. Tell them Rod sent you. Point 2, the Edmonton Oil Kings are Western Hockey League champions and Memorial Cup bound following a series-clinching 2-0 victory over the visiting Seattle Thunderbirds Monday night at Rogers Place. Jacob Demick and Caden Gooley provided the offense, and Sebastian Casa supplied shutout net minding as Edmonton won the best-of-7 series in 6 games. Jake Neighbors chipped in with 2 assists. Now, there's an NHL-worthy talent right there, Jake Neighbors. That guy's a stud. So Edmonton's off to the Memmer in St. John, New Brunswick, which will run June 20th to the 29th. We have 3 of the 4 teams named, Moose. The Edmonton Oil Kings, the Shawinigan Cataract, and the host St. John Club. But now we wait on the OHL, and last night in Windsor, the Spitfires, trying to shake off back-to-back 1-goal losses and stay alive in the OHL final, did just that Monday night, and they beat the Hamilton Bulldogs 5-2. Teams were tied 1-1 after one period last night. Windsor took a 3-2 lead into the third. So they go to a Game 7 on Wednesday, which I believe is in the Hammer. You folks in the OHL, please tell me. We have this wonky 2-2-3 schedule out in Western Canada, so I have no idea where. I think the game is in the Hammer, Game 7. That's exciting, Darren. Game 7, a 1-game showdown to go to the Memorial Cup, and I think it'll be on TSN. I think that one would actually draw some ratings in Canada.
Yeah, it should. It should draw some ratings. It's going to be, so exciting. And the fact that all these games have been on television across the country has just been outstanding. I love what TSN has done with their junior hockey coverage, and it's on the website, and we're seeing it on their social feeds, so that's great. And, you look at Windsor, they've got a recent history of success. Hamilton, we know, has been really good lately, so these are 2 really great clubs going at it. I can't wait for Wednesday.
Our junior hockey coverage, this portion of the warm-up, is for Cavendish Farms, proud supporters of junior hockey in Canada. Start spreading the news. We're live on YouTube. Tell all your friends. Let's go. Chop, chop.
How about that?
And Game Plus TV, right, as well. I said that we'd be talking a lot of hockey today. We'll come around on the Nathan Rourke thing because I'm seeing a lot of comments are coming in on that. I have more thoughts, as always. But I continue. Point 4. A Winnipeg brewery says it will give 59-year-old Barry Trotz free beer for life if he returns to his native province to coach the Jets. Little Brown Jug Brewing Company and a local sports talk show launched the campaign Monday, several months into the NHL club's coaching search. Trotz became available a month ago when he was fired by the New York Islanders. He coached the Capitals to the Stanley Cup in 2018. So, there was a time if anybody was going to hire me for free beer for life, that would have put them in the poorhouse. That would have bankrupted them. Now it's not much. Yeah, right. But we did the show yesterday, and I mentioned the 2 guys in a gas station in Swift Current, 2 junior hockey players, by the way. I don't want to say too much. I don't want to reveal my sources, obviously, but it was a guy. I'm not going to even say. I'm not going to give it a hint who told me, because you people will guess. Because it's a small world, the hockey community. I'll just say 2 junior hockey players in a gas station in Swift Current swear that Barry Trotz told them that he was on his way to Winnipeg to be the coach of the Jets. Now, I tweeted that as well this morning, and it is gone viral. And people are saying there's a lot of Ukrainian guys that look like Barry Trotz on the prairies. Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm just telling you. I'm just passing along. I said yesterday I'm not good at this insider stuff. I'm just passing along. Would it be that hard to believe that Barry Trotz would be in a gas station in Swift Current? Not hard at all. And I guess you saw the Instagram story I put up this morning, Moose. It seems like Jets fans will be very disappointed if it's not Barry Trotz. Are their hopes getting up too high?
Yeah, I agree. They might be. Nobody wants second best. Nobody wants second best. So when you have your sights set on Disneyland and then mom and dad tell you, we're not going to Disneyland, but we're going camping, right? You're disappointed,
yeah.
Right? So you don't want to get their hopes up too much. I feel for you in Winnipeg. But you know what? If Barry Trotz, where there's smoke, there's fire. We've heard the name. The fake rumors got around. Now we're seeing this, out of Swift Current. It's a good fit. I don't blame them for getting excited, and I kind of hope it works out for them, and I hope we find out soon. That's what I really hope.
Who else can it be? It's such an attractive job. And who else is open? What do we say? Vegas, Dallas, Philly. couple assistant coaches job here in Florida. I think Winnipeg's, I think it's the best situation. Plus, he's basically a hometown boy, Dauphin. So we sit and we wait. And like you say, I do feel like the Jets fans are getting their hopes up. We've had their people come on, or at least their media, and say that the Jets are getting a little antsy here. Like, come on, we'd like an announcement here. But your comment about Disneyland just made me, just reminded me when I was like 12. And I remember saying to my parents, well, specifically my mom, because I wouldn't even whine to my dad, right? So I said, Mom, why? He did strike me, but I deserved it. Believe me, I deserved it. I almost lit the house on fire one time, sticking a piece of paper in a jack-o'-lantern to see what happens. But anyways, I said, Mom, all my friends and cousins are going to Disneyland. How come we don't get to go to Disneyland? And Mom was like, well, Roddy, we get to go to hockey tournaments, and you get to go to Lethbridge and Swift Current and Brandon. And we get to ride in the van. That's what your Disneyland is. Hockey tournaments. It's far more fun. And that's how I became what I am. My youth was spent in these rinks watching my older brothers in hockey tournaments. Wasn't actually that bad now that you think about it, but didn't get to Disneyland until well into my adulthood.
Yeah. But as a kid, you're instantly sitting there being like, I'll trade Brandon and Swift Current for Disneyland, right? Like but looking back on it, yeah, absolutely. I'm with you. Like, I didn't do the Disneyland thing as a kid either.
I'll never forget it. Roddy, you get to go to hockey tournaments in Lethbridge. That's your Disneyland. Okay. The winner would be if there was a bubble hockey, Canada versus USA table hockey game there. And then we're good. It wins, right? James Henderson, watching in Border, Manitoba, says the best part about the Winnipeg job is job security. Paul Maurice had to fire himself. Yeah, that's fair. John Massey, my frenemy, watching in Edmonton, huge Oilers fan, says, what are the odds Connor Bedard gets traded from God's team next year? How much time we got? I feel like I'm going to run through the quick six, finish it, and come back on does Bedard get traded? And then also the Nathan Rourke thing that I'm not done on. So 0.5, Andrew Wiggins delivered the biggest game of his 8-year career with 26 points and 13 rebounds. Klay Thompson scored 21, and the Golden State Warriors beat the Boston Celtics 104-94 for a 3-2 lead in the NBA Finals. And 0.6, expectations for the Colorado Avalanche have not diminished since the start of the playoffs. They were favored to win the Western Conference and reach the Stanley Cup Final. And now that they're there, odds makers think that they have an edge over the Tampa Bay Lightning, who have won the last 2 Stanley Cups. The Avs will need to overcome a long layoff to live up to the mantra of being minus 180 favorites on FanDuel Sportsbook in a highly anticipated series that begins Wednesday night in Denver. One of those elements is the schedule. After sweeping Edmonton in the West Final, Colorado is going more than a week between games. The 8 days between series is slightly longer than the gameless span the Avs had after sweeping Nashville before facing St. Louis. Coach Jared Bednar and his staff have attempted to balance rest and competitive practices to keep the juices flowing, knowing what's coming. Players insist they will be ready. So the Avs are favored by odds makers, but Bernie Nichols favors the Lightning. We'll talk a little more about that when we come back. That's the whole quick six. We'll delve into them when we come back. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus Television Network. We're live on YouTube, streaming in 24-hour sports radio, of course, at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
a legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep.
A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Grey Eagle Resort and Casino. Casino fancy.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Here we go. It is the RP Show, brought to you in part by Taco Time. Real food, real value, real flavor. It is Taco Tuesday. You know what that means. $2 tacos all day long. So because there weren't any huge games on last night, with apologies to the Blue Jays spanking Baltimore 11-1 in Game 5 of the NBA Finals, I kind of felt like let's turn it over to the viewers somewhat, Moose, for what they would like to talk about. And it's interesting what they have as we bring in the Moose here. From Todd Pinkney, one of our P1s, he says, I saw somewhere yesterday saying the Pats are going all in this year to give Connor Bedard, the supporting cast he needs to take the team to the Memorial Cup. And he quotes the Leader Post esteemed columnist Rob Vanstone is writing, Connor Bedard as a Regina Pat will do everything we can to enhance the group around him. Please tell me who said it. If it was the owner, Sean Semple, this is the road that I want to go down. Sean's been part of this ownership group since 2015. I wonder if he's realized yet how junior hockey works. It's not like the pros where you can just, who do I make the check out to? Psst. Don't work that way. You can't buy a champion in junior hockey. And in even major sports, it's not that easy. And I'm assuming it was Sean Semple. I shouldn't say. Maybe they quoted the general manager, John Paddock. Maybe they quoted the coach, Brad Haroff. I haven't heard from too many people. But there was a hockey suit that told me in the Saddle Dome in Calgary a month ago. He goes, I hear that you think that Bedard might leave the Dub to go to Sweden. He ain't going anywhere. So he may not be staying in Regina. He may be traded, but he will be playing in the Western Hockey League next season. And so it just kind of reminds me of... So your thoughts on that before we get into winning time? The Lakers documentary, speaking of owners who like to write checks to win championships.
Yeah. It's funny because you look at what's there for Regina. I don't want to get too deep into it, but you need to figure out what you're going to do in goal, right? You got to get some pieces, but it's going to take a lot. Draft picks and things like that. There are a lot of 20-year-olds that are going to be available because it was a deep 19-year-old year. Those are things they can do to get better and obviously make some trades. So it'll be fun to watch if they put a championship caliber team around him. It's going to take a lot of work, or does he end up somewhere else? It'll be fun at least to follow.
They missed the playoffs last year. The prospects aren't looking any better this year. And again, you can't buy players in major junior hockey. So I'll believe it when I see it. Tim Manto watching on YouTube says, what are the odds the Coyotes stay in Tempe for the next 5 years? But again, you have an owner there with more money than the Royal Canadian Mint, literally. And as long as that's the case, I don't see any interest in Gary Bettman. Like, teams don't want to fire coaches and GMs, and believe me, they don't. They get pushed to the nth degree until they absolutely have to fire somebody. They have no choice. Look at the Vancouver Canucks. It's the same thing, clearly, with leagues not wanting to move teams. They don't want to move teams. So I would say the odds are pretty long that the Coyotes would not be in Arizona 5 years from now. You?
Yeah, I agree with that. I think so. And they got a plan for a new arena, right? It needs to get approved and go through all the funding and get shovels in the ground. But they got the plan. And I think 5 years for sure they'll still be there.
One more hockey before I do want to address the Nathan Rourke thing. And by the way, coming up, Mike Richards from Sauga 960 Radio in Mississauga, and also Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NHL Radio. DG watching in the Bridge City writes in, and he says, morning, guys. I think it's time to give Daryl Cates and Oilers Entertainment Group their due credit. They are the preeminent and model Canadian sports organization at this point in time. Multiple WHL titles in the past decade for the Oil Kings, another long run by the Oilers this year, a state-of-the-art arena and training facilities, huge crowds, and great community programs such as the new AAA Boys Under-18 Edmonton Junior Oilers hockey program. They are ahead of any organization in Canada by a lot right now. I'm not going to immediately discount that at all. I may not discount it ever. I got to think about that, because not that long ago, I was just having a chat with a former season ticket holder in Edmonton who gave his seats up this year because he's like, this organization's a disgrace. It's a fiasco. It's a tire fire. I'm not supporting it. And he didn't regret letting his season tickets go. Saved him a lot of money. But because the Oilers went to the conference, you're only saying this, DG, because they went to the conference final, which incidentally is fine. Nobody believed that they would. But they still haven't won diddly. There's no trophies to put on the mantle in Edmonton. Preeminent? By a mile they're out front? No, I don't think so. Over to you, Moose.
I like all the things he said. I like the Oil Kings side of it too, that they become a group that continues to have stability. The community side is really great, and the fan engagement's awesome. I think you got to do it for a little bit longer of a stretch, right? You got to do this for 5-10 years, to build up that reputation that no matter what, you're going to continue to have that success. But they're off to a good start. They're off to a good start and doing well, and they're on the uptick. Let's see if it continues.
Our P1 Pinks, one of our P1 says that it was John Paddock who said we're going to do everything in our power to create a Memorial Cup caliber team. Like, that is pulling a big-time rabbit out of the hat. Because, again, you can't buy it. And I don't care how good a coach you got. So how about this? I'll believe it when I see it. John in Edmonton says, Rod, have you finally seen the new Arizona Coyotes arena concept? What are your thoughts? I saw it when it came out. It looks like T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. I'll say it again. I will believe it when I see it, because they don't even have a deal yet. They don't have a deal yet, as far as I know, for sure, And they darn sure don't have shovels in the ground yet. So I'll believe it when they're skating in it. Yeah, sad news. I'm not going to ring the bell for this because it's not in any way happy news. Apparently, Bearcat Murray has passed away. Calgary Flames, legendary trainer, Moose, probably before your time. Maybe you remember Bearcat for the 80s and 90s, and I'm pretty sure he was in the 70s too. Bearcat Murray, of course you would have heard of him because when we were in Calgary for close to 3 months of this winter and spring, his name came up all the time. Such a legendary trainer for the Calgary pro teams, and he was for the Wranglers too. When my dad worked for the Calgary Wranglers in the Western Hockey League, Bearcat was their trainer. So condolences to the Calgary hockey community and the hockey community overall on his passing. I got to get your take. As I said, there would be a test this morning on your thoughts on the streaming series on HBO Max, Winning Time, documenting the rise of the LA Lakers. And it's really the Jerry Buss story. Let's be honest. It's all about him. It's like they put a GoPro on the owner of the Lakers, Jerry Buss. Yeah. So how many seasons or episodes in are you now, and what do you think?
Hey, I got to be 6 or 7 episodes in now, and it's awesome. It continues to evolve. I mean, the Jerry Buss story, he just found out his mom was writing all the bogus checks, too. So now he's got that problem to solve. You know, when he comes in there, he's like, these are all from this other account. We closed that 10 years ago. And it's just like, it's pretty great. I like watching, too, the Magic and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar relationship evolve. You know, from trying to squeeze his fresh orange juice every morning to finally getting some emotion out of him on the court. It's pretty wild watching this unfold and how they turn the LA Forum into the mecca of this high-end VIP nightclub experience. I think it's pretty cool.
And again, the older viewers will remember the Great Western Forum in Los Angeles or Inglewood, California. Yeah. And we thought, ooh, naming rights, one of the first teams to do it. Well, the only reason they gave Great Western the naming rights is they couldn't make the payments on their loan with Great Western Bank. So they're like, we'll put your name on the side of this arena till we can make the money back because we're going to win, and then we'll pay you. And danged if they didn't do it. So as much as Jerry Buss is a sleazeball, clearly you got to take your hat off to the guy for the championships that he won and just a pioneer from owners. I appreciate all the comments from the viewers, but I can't sit and have a conversation one-on-one with people. Tim Manto says, watch Hustle, best Sandler movie in a minute. I've seen Hustle. It is very good. Cynthia, watching in Pittsburgh, says, good morning, Rod and Darren. Beautiful day here in Pittsburgh. Glad to be home. Missed you guys. Well, you can always follow us. You can take us everywhere you go on the live streaming. So pretty good talks on all of that. I wanted to mention this Nathan Rourke thing before we change topics on everything else. He is the player of the week in the Canadian Football League today, the top performer, as they say. And I want to go back to this because we opened the show talking about it. A BC Lions sweep. For now, they are the darlings of the Canadian Football League. All 3 of their players named the top 3 performers in the CFL. Running back James Butler, defensive back TJ Lee were named the others. Darren, it says in the first sentence, led by Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke. This came from the Canadian Press. I was on the Ticats audio network with a show yesterday along with Naylor and Matt Cause and Bubba O'Neill. And we got in a hell of a row, as my mom would say, about Nathan Rourke and Canadian quarterbacks. And will this be the thing that fills stadiums? This is my question to the viewers, and I'll start with you, Darren. Will this turn Canada on to the Canadian Football League? Canadian quarterback, or is it a disservice to say Canadian quarterback? Because a lot of people think that it is. We don't say Russian goalie Andrei Vasilevsky leads the Tampa Bay Lightning in, right? Russian forward Nikita Kucherov is leading all active scorers in the Stanley Cup playoffs with 23 points, which incidentally is our poll question today for Capital Auto Mall Universal Collision Center. Who should win the Hart Trophy this year in the Stanley Cup playoffs? Our options are Kucherov, Makar, or McKinnon. Last I saw, McKinnon was running away with it. Probably should have put in an option there for Connor McDavid, who still leads with 33 points. Anyways, Darren, is it a disservice to refer to him as the Canadian quarterback, A, and B, and we only have about 2 minutes here, B, will this turn Canada on to the CFL a little more than they already are?
I think the answer to, is it a disservice? No. And will it turn, fans on? Yeah, I hope so. I think this is, we're celebrating. You got to be careful with this too, but we're celebrating a minority having success here. Now, young white male doesn't jump off the page. Quarterback, athlete doesn't jump off the page as minority. But in football, a Canadian in that position is a minority. They don't usually get the fair shake. They don't usually are looked upon the same. They're judged by their passport, right? And they don't get the opportunity. So to have somebody like that have success, we should be celebrating it. It's kind of a spectacle, so it's a reason to come out and see if he can keep it going and overcome all the odds. I think it's awesome till we get to a point that we no longer look at you based on your passport. And I know it's a superficial thing to look at it that way, but that's kind of how I see it. And I think the more he has success, and the more he has success at home in front of large crowds, that can invigorate the city. So I like the story. I think it's awesome.
That'll probably be my commentary on Wednesday on the Canadian quarterback. Is this what the CFL needs? The commentary today is about Phil Mickelson, and everybody needs to mind their own business. We are looking out for number one on this planet. If anything taught us that, it's the pandemic. Get off Phil's back. John in Edmonton says, what do the Saskatchewan Roughriders have to do to get a good crowd going forward? It looked pretty sad at their home opener. I'm not wandering into Rough Rider attendance or CFL attendance overall. I think the Riders might want to look at what they're doing in Edmonton and BC, where their crowds are going up rather than going down. That would be my suggestion to that. Moose, I'll see you in hour 2.
You bet.
The great Mike Richards joins us next from Saga 960 Radio in Mississauga, Ontario. You are watching the RP Show on the Game Plus television network, anchored out of Toronto. Anthem Sports. We're also live streaming on YouTube, and you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
So much to get to, so little time. By the way, talking about the best streaming series we're watching now and how much we're enjoying Winning Time, chronicling the Lakers. Jeremy Davis in the Game Plus control room watching, texts in on the 902 line. He says, have you ever watched the show Young Rock? Lots of Dwayne Johnson flashbacks to the CFL. Happy Tuesday to the RPES team. Happy Tuesday to the Game Plus team. And yes, I've watched Young Rock. When I saw the guy they had playing Doug Flutie, it was great. It was great. So much to get to, so little time. Let's bring in Mike Richards from Saga 960 Radio. Mike, and you're one of those guys, Mike, that you turn on the mic and go. So I'm going to say, what is on your mind on this Tuesday in all the wild world of sports and society?
It's Nathan Rourke, baby. It's Nathan Rourke. I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you so. What were people sleeping on him? I can't believe the Argos had a chance to take him in Toronto, where by mistake, sometimes people go, oh, God, there's football here. Yeah, there's a whole stadium, a team, and everything. Been around for, a little over 100 years. And you had a chance to take this kid who is the best Canadian athlete in football that I have seen in my lifetime. And look, I've seen a lot of them. I even had a chance to coach Greg Vavra's son in high school football at St. Mary's in Calgary. And, from Jamie Bowen to all the quarterbacks who come since, and this is not a Brandon Bridge, this isn't the Larry Justanis. This is a kid they called Air Canada. I watched him play at Ohio for the Bobcats. I watched him win the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. I bet on it because I love it. I gambled on him. He won me money. He won me last week. And there were people talking about, Edmonton. 4.5 points. I don't know. You don't know? Why do people not listen? Do you watch? I mean, this is the least surprising thing that I've seen. It is a gift, but it's one that was pretty damn obvious. And I like your question at the beginning. Do we call him a Canadian quarterback? You're damn right we do. We need to let kids know when they play in Red Deer, when they play in Saskatoon, when they play, anywhere in this country, that there is a chance for you to play professional football. It's sitting there. It's available because we have great athletes in this country. We just, have to support them, let them know, let them grow that imagination, and let that athleticism just take over. This is, again, a big deal. It's not just it's funny calling is that a minority? It's a unicorn. It's a unicorn is what this is, but we have more of them, and we have such great Canadian kids going south of the border. They're going to prep schools, then they're going to, they don't have to go to big schools. You don't have to go to a big school to become a star, and it just rolled out. He just tore apart Edmonton. Edmonton. Is it sunny there today? Probably not. Oh,
well, the coach should be wearing sunglasses. I know that, Chris Jones. But so clearly you don't think that Nathan Rourke is a flash in the pan then, Mike?
No, by the end of it, and look, I've talked to Russ Jackson many, many times over the years, and there's very few people. He is an ambassador for this league, for this country. There's no one classier than him. He's such a well-read guy. I actually went to high school with my mom at Westdale in Hamilton, and I think the world now. If you've talked to Nathan Rourke, he's very polite, very humble. He's not he's not Johnny Manziel. He's not looking for a little bit of this stuff, but it was a mistake by the Argos to not take him at the time. And look, I'm going to be talking to some Argos on our station tomorrow, and I'm not shy about it. We do not have a lot of opportunities in this league, in this country, to showcase guys. We just don't. This is one of those moments, and I'm glad with the new ownership in BC, they clearly get it. What an awesome crowd it was to see there. And I think that, will it make a difference? Gradually, no, it'll make a difference in Western Canada because Western Canada gets it before everybody else does. Western Canada will understand what it takes to play at this level. But for it to seep into Toronto, this is why they needed to have drafted him. I get it. It was like the second or third, number 15 overall, but they took an offensive lineman. Normally I understand, but this is Toronto. Toronto is not a football market. It's a terrible football market. This is not a place where people talk football. They're going to talk bills and fantasy football. Those are the two things they talk here. They have very little understanding of what even happens down the road in the QEW in Hamilton, where Hamilton has, a beautiful building, tremendous ownership. I mean, they might have the best ownership right now in the entire country with not only caretaker Bob, but now you got Stelco in there. You've got Jim Lawson, the former chairman of the board, and he runs Woodbine out here, and he's a fantastic human being. I mean, they've got it set up right. It's Toronto is the one that is always the anchor. But the problem is, and this goes for people who always complain about Toronto, and screw them, let's forget it. From an advertising perspective, when they start spending dollars, just like you see in hockey, once you eliminate Toronto, it is way too big a market. It is the biggest market, and they count. You have to win them over. If they had taken Nathan Rourke, they would have had a shot at great PR. He's from Oakville. That's where he's from. I know they say he's born in Victoria, but he's an Oakville kid just down the road. There's everything about him that's likable because, look, he's not one of these one-trick ponies, Rod. He's not someone that, like a really good runner and then can throw sometimes or has difficult. He has no difficulty in any aspect. And I'll go, not only do I think he'll be the best Canadian quarterback that we've ever had, if he continues to play like this, are we saying that his ability is that grossly different than Zach Wilson with the Jets? Are we saying that his skill set is that grossly different? No, I'm not going to compare him to Josh Allen. I'm not going to go to those to Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. I mean, that's kind of a crazy comparison. But you're telling me in a league that is starved for quarterbacks and has a difficult time finding guys, that if he continues to play like that, he's not going to end up like Garcia. He's not going to end up like a Joe Theismann. Now, again, not comparing him to Warren Moon and guys go down there, but are we really saying that he's not going to have a look? Like when he went down, he tried out for the Giants, a wide receiver, because he's that good an athlete. I mean, this guy is also built like a tank. He can take it. This is a great story, and I think if this is done properly, this will be one of the best stories that the CFL has had in years. I don't know what the comparison would be because we've never lived during a time, I certainly haven't, where a Canadian quarterback was just as good or if not better than anybody else in the league. He is that good.
Well, you know what? We've got about 2 to 3 minutes, and Mike, you and I have been around a long time. I sense a renaissance in Canadian sports. Look at your station. Are you guys not the Ticats rights holder, and is it the Hamilton Honey Badgers you care? Some CEBL team. I feel like Canadian sports is making a huge comeback here. What decade is this? 90s?
Yeah.
80s?
Well, we've never. This is the golden era right now of Canadian sport, and the reason I say that is there's a time where you'd go to high school and you sat at a cafeteria and you started talking about soccer. They would stare at you like you were from another planet. Now they're like, oh, that's right. Alphonso Davies plays for Bayern Munich, blah, 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 going on and on. They'll talk about players from not just the Ronaldos, but they'll be very specific about the Premiership, the Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga. They know so much. Toronto FC now is seen as an established soccer environment. Now you have the CPL. So you've got York United, Calgary Cavalry, all the way out to both coasts. And you're seeing kids now being able to play a professional soccer without having to go over to Denmark or places that may not be the biggest soccer countries, but bigger than ours. But pretty soon, between that and then the CBL is just on an absolute roll. That game they had in Scarborough the other week where Drake shows up, they were thinking that Iverson was going to show up and snoop someone or, people I don't know. But anyway, big.
Well, Rod Black was there.
Rod Black was there. Black was there.
If that counts.
Doing the game. I did. But this is the highest level of sport globally that we're currently enjoying. And remember, this is the start of it. I mean, there's probably 125, 130, maybe more Division 1, 2, and 3 athletes going down to basketball. It will seep everywhere. And both ground level leagues, so the grassroots level, both in basketball and soccer, are going to raise our national programs because that's how the blood works for national programs. You're seeing, I think, the best quality. I think you're seeing the best hockey. I think you're seeing the best hockey. And not only that, and I talked about this the other day. Yeah, we can see around the world and so on, but hockey might have the most improved coaching overall in sport, period. I take a look at all the other sports, what we see in basketball, and, you go down the list. But I think the biggest improvement worldwide in terms of quality and knowledge is probably hockey. So sitting right now in Canada, we are on, just the starting edge of a golden age of the best Canadian athletes and the best environment for Canadian sport that we have ever witnessed, and it's not close.
Yeah, I've sensed it, so I'm glad I'm not crazy, or at least maybe I am. But at least we're on the same page, Mike. We've sniffed the same thing here. That's a great. Our small involvement, the small part that we're set in a pretty good spot. Mike, we are out of time. I appreciate this as always, man. But keep it. I guess I'll chat with you in the morning.
And you're going to see me tomorrow on the Raw Mike Richards show, which don't be afraid. I know it's a different kind of show. All of a sudden, maybe someone has their shirt off. I don't know what's going to happen. I never do.
Okay, can't wait.
How
Thanks,
about
Mike.
that?
Yeah, I'll be on with Mike Richards tomorrow morning. So look at he's laughing already. He's got something cooked up. Should I be scared? Viewer takeover for Taco Time is coming up next. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network. We're live streaming on YouTube too. And of course, if you miss any portion of the show, you can always catch the podcast wherever you enjoy your podcasts, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Hey, Rod Squad, now you can join the team with your very own RP Show gear. Head to rodpetersenshop.com and get yours today while supplies last. It's just like we wear on the show, official RP Show gear at rodpetersenshop.com. Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Grey Eagle Resort and Casino.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with the Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the RP Show. It is Taco Time viewer takeover, and I'll say it again. It's Taco Tuesday, $2 tacos. At the over 120 Taco Time locations across Canada, your biggest question today will be hard or soft shells, beef or veggie. I've had mine already. Hard shells, beef. How about that? A sports update here on this Tuesday. Canada scored 3 goals and then hung on last night to defeat the USA 3-2 in the gold medal final at the Under-18 Women's World Hockey Championship in Madison, Wisconsin. Alexia Aube, Ava Murphy, and Jocelyn Amos scored for Canada, while Finley McCarthy and Claire Onwright scored second-period goals, 7 seconds apart for the U.S. to make the final period very interesting. Meanwhile, news out of Pittsburgh today, the Penguins promoted Chris Pryor to assistant general manager, one of several front office moves by Penn's GM Ron Hextall. The 61-year-old Pryor spent last season as Pittsburgh's director of player personnel. Penguins also named Andy Saucier, hockey operations analyst / pro personnel. Their role, which was created exclusively for Andy, makes him a liaison between the club's coaching staff and analytics department. And Hextall also promoted Eric Heasley to general manager of the franchise's American Hockey League affiliate in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. This sports update for Ballers Rec Room, your official home of Slow Pitch, open Wednesday to Sunday for the Tap Brewhouse and drive-through liquor store. Well, where you'll never need to ask to have the CFL game put on. And for Red Bull Canada, Red Bull gives you wings. So there's this sports update there, dabbling into the comment section because it is viewer takeover here in the chat. Ted in Red Deer says Rod and Mike Richards are the best. Awesome chats, always. Thank you, Ted. I would have loved to have had been on the air full-time with Mike Richards, but we used to do those radio spots together. He would call me into the studio in Calgary, morning of Riders Stamps games at McMahon, and we would stir it up. Which, by the way, we'll be broadcasting live from the Rocky Mountain Rotary Classic Golf Classic on Monday, okay, at Bears Paw in Calgary. So we're coming home to Canada. And Moose will be with me. Bo Levi Mitchell is in the field of celebrity golfers. And I got the list from Grey Eagle. And they said, or from Sheldon, who's with the committee. Last minute of play in hour 1, by the way. He said, who would you like to speak with on the list? In my mind, I thought we should do a Will Smith, Chris Rock slap thing. I can't do it now because I've blurted it out on the air, and I don't know if Bo would go for it or not. But could you imagine a Jim Everett, Jim Rome scenario where Bo just, and you people couldn't figure out if it was real or not? These are the devilish things that cross my mind. And we've got about a week to think. So we'll be live from the Rocky Mountain Rotary Golf Classic on Monday at Bears Paw, and then back to Grey Eagle to the end of time beginning Tuesday. Moose will kick this around with us next hour, and Zig Fracassi from NFL Radio coming up after this break.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Smoky in the air, that's a lot of pine. Big time, big time, big time, big time.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
Nathan Rourke, cool, Ohio Bobcat alum. We had him on the show, and he seems like another Joe Burrow. He's not the next Joe Burrow, but I'm just saying he's very mature, stoic, serious. He seems like the kind of quarterback you want leading your football.
This is the Rod Pedersen Show.
Yeah, it's the greatest show ever. It's the greatest job ever. It's the Rod Pedersen Show. Greatest channel ever, Game Plus TV network, and I believe that. I really do. It's hour 2. Welcome to it. Episode number 778, which I believe is the area code of BC Interior or the Lower Mainland, one of them. We're going to get into some important numbers here this hour as we welcome in Darren Moose DuPont and our NFL buddy, our NFL insider, Zig Fracassi will join us from SiriusXM NFL Radio. I got so many things flooding my mind, Moose. Hang on. Hang on to your toupee because I'm going to flood you with some of them, okay?
All right.
I got you going already. So I don't know if you were watching near the end of hour 1 where I said, we're doing the show from the Charity Golf Classic at Bears Paw outside Calgary on Monday, and I don't want to let the cat out of the bag in terms of who the celebrities are that are going to be coming on the show. But Bo Levi's on the list, and the organizers asked if I wanted him, and I think I told you this, right? In my mind, I thought we should do a Will Smith, Chris Rock slap. Could you imagine Bo yelling from across the 18th green, "You get my effing name out your mouth"?
How about that?
Can you imagine?
Would be awesome. And he would just drain the putt, and then he'd look over at you, right? Like, oh, it'd be awesome.
I would be okay with being slapped. I don't know the wrestling term for that. I'd be okay with it for the sake of entertainment. I would be totally okay with it. Yeah. And Jeff, the Stamps fan, has written in and said, well, you can't, seeing as you've just told us, we would know it was fake. And the reason I brought it up is I don't think Bo would go for it. From what I understand, while I have been on bent knee, saying I'm willing and want this to be over with, this feud, he doesn't. for his own reasons. That's why I don't think the slap would happen. Now, furthermore, John Ohm is watching in Winnipeg. And regarding the golf tournament, Moose, at Bears Paw, where is it? He says, rated one of the top courses in Alberta, this stunning par 71 layout features 6,868 yards of dramatic terrain set in a natural alpine amphitheater. We've driven by it like there's no word for how beautiful this golf course is. I've been thinking about this. I'm like, it's beautiful out there west of Calgary in the winter. I haven't spent much time out there in the summer, so I can't imagine how beautiful it's going to be. But 6,868 yards, 68. John Ohm just wrote it in. So if you're into astrology, which Darren and I have been dancing around for like the last year on this show, I looked up the angel number 6868. It was put in our path for a reason, Moose. Do you know what the angel number 6868, what our spirit guides want us to know about that number?
Tell me.
Angel number 6868 is symbolic of hard work and positivity. You will face struggles and challenges, but you have to face them with courage and confidence. You need to stay positive and trust the working of the universe. Don't stress about things and take out some time for yourself and your family and friends. So that's 6868. And then one other thing, when I said I don't mind taking the slap, I also don't mind looking foolish. Like, again, for those that weren't listening an hour ago, a good source of mine told me that Barry Trotz was in a gas station in Swift Current on the weekend, told two young junior hockey players that he was on his way to Winnipeg to coach the Jets. And I wrote the guy back and I said, you actually think he's taking the job? And he never wrote me back, which is a lot of times a cue that, well, you figure it out for yourself. This is what I heard. And this guy has never been wrong. So a guy by the name of Danny Shearer in Winnipeg has tweeted, and he says, I don't know about you, but I always take my lead on world events from two guys in a gas station. Worked well for me so far. So do you think a whole lot of... Tony on Twitter says, Barry told my cousin's aunt's sister-in-law that he's going to Florida. So I don't mind. I'm just passing it along. What do you think about this?
They're having fun.
Bombshell.
At least they're having fun with you. But I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, we'll have to wait and see where this goes. I think obviously I really believe where there's smoke, there's fire. So if these things are starting to, come around, yeah, I get it. It could absolutely be happening. Barry Trotz, I don't know what other reasons he'd have for being in Swift Current, Saskatchewan. I don't know why he's driving to Winnipeg to begin a lot of things I have the answers for here. But look if that's what's happening and we see it, I mean, let's wait and see where this goes. But if I'm in Winnipeg, I'm probably getting a little bit excited. Prematurely, but I'm excited.
Well, and again, full disclosure, his agent is a really close friend of mine. We talk all the time. And I am not asking the agent where Barry's going or to give me this. Or to give me the jump on it. I don't want to ruin the surprise for anybody. But man, I just get this sense all the way down here in Florida that Winnipeg is just on pins and needles. And to a degree, you feel like they're setting themselves up for what if he goes somewhere else. But it's kind of his hometown team. Everything's lining up that he would be the next head coach of the Winnipeg Jets. But who knows? I asked you this last hour. I'll ask you again. Are the fans setting themselves up for disappointment? Because you would then... If he goes to Vegas, say, and doesn't come to Winnipeg, then you're looking at Scott Arniel, maybe Joel Quenneville, John Tortorella, Mike Babcock. There's a lot of great coaches out there. People threw Travis Green's name in there, Guy Boucher in there, Dave Tippett. Why does it have to be Barry Trotz?
I know, but you don't want second best. And when you set your sights on something like Barry Trotz as a fan, and then you end up with somebody else, you'll always think, we don't have the guy we wanted, so our team's not as good as it could be or as good as it should be. And then you're in that mindset the whole time, and it's a hard game to play. It's a hard game to play. So, yeah, they're probably going all in with their expectations here, and we'll see how it pans out.
Yes, but I think that happens all the time. If memory serves, Kahari Jones is like the third choice to be the head coach of the Alouette. Now they love him. This happens all the time, you know. So that's the backwards thing. They had other guys targeted. They didn't get them. So Kahari was the third guy on the depth chart. They got him, and he's been great. So that could very easily happen in Winnipeg, too. Well, yeah, and he's done a great job. They've been in the playoffs, I think, every year. The players love him. Restored credibility in a marketplace with the Alouettes. So I think this is what Canada and our U.S. viewers that know me as the CFL guy are really coming around to realize something. The mask is off. Surprise! He's a Saskatchewan hockey guy, Rod Pedersen. I would rather talk hockey. Honestly, I would, 24/7, but spent 20 years in the Canadian Football League. I love the league. So we'll talk about that too. But just like on Miami Sports Radio today, as I told you earlier, what were they talking about on Miami Sports Radio today? The NFL. The NFL's not playing currently. They're not playing currently. But that's all they talk about. We could talk about hockey all summer, and Canada would be happy here on this show. By the way, the text line is open, 902-518-3033. Pick up the phone and text RP, 902-518-3033. Here we go. What sources do you have out there, people, where Barry Trotz is going? Daryl in Sherwood Park, Alberta writes in, he says, the guy at the smoke shop told me if the Elks lose again, Barry Trotz will be in Edmonton.
I like it.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few. John Ohm in Winnipeg says, this Trotz talk is burning me out, dude. Just get on with it. Yeah, well, deal with it. John Ohm. Randy from Winnipeg says, the lady at Taco Time told me Trotz is going to Vegas.
Spicy.
So there we go.
They're pretty good. Pretty creative.
let's get them all out, okay? What are your sources telling you, people, where Barry Trotz is going? Because mine are two junior hockey players in a gas station in Swift Current said Trotzy told him he's going to Winnipeg. I wouldn't have put that on Twitter if I didn't believe. I believe the source. Like, I can't. I do.
But the question is, did he order a large coffee or a small coffee? Was he going on a long trip or a short trip?
What's your go-to gas station pickup? You know mine. You've been with me a lot.
If I want to go to gas station, 7-Eleven.
Mm-hmm.
If I just want to go for coffee, I'll just go to a 7-Eleven and grab a coffee.
But you usually buy gum.
Yeah. Usually always have gum.
And leave the wrappers on the door of my car.
At least they're in one spot, not on the floor.
No, I don't put mine on the floor. 111 Eastern, by the way, 1111 Mountain. The Angels are nearby.
Beautiful.
Phyllis in Winnipeg says, we are fine in Winnipeg. We are well aware that Trotz could go elsewhere, but we are going to make it tough for him to do that. by giving him free beer for life. That reminds me, story time with old Uncle Rod. You ever been on that, what do they call it in Vancouver, the C train? Whatever the mass transit rail is there? SkyTrain, thank you. You've been on it, obviously?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how this story goes. I was still drinking back then, but I was at the Lions practice facility in Surrey, BC, with Murray McCormick. I'm trying to remember how it worked. And we bought a ticket there. It was like $1.50 from downtown Vancouver to Surrey. And then on the way back, Murray was trying to convince me not to buy a ticket. I think that's how it worked. And that's a no-no. I can't remember what the ticket was. And anyways, I said to Murray, that's what it was. I bought him his ticket. I said, I don't want to do it. Let's buy the tickets, man. I don't want to risk it. And we get up to the top of the platform on the way back, and there's guys checking tickets. Right? So I said to Murray, aren't you glad that we bought the ticket for $1.50? And I said, don't worry, you can buy me beer tonight at the Lions game or after the game. And Murray goes, I would have rather got the ticket. That's what it was. It would have been cheaper. It was like $180 or something. So anyways, free beer for life for Barry Trotz. That would bankrupt the brewery for me back in the day, but now it's really not much of a deal. I'm just going to throw this in there. This is so silly from Todd Pinkney. Pinks says maybe one of our P1 viewers, he says maybe Barry Trotz travels stop in Regina and he becomes the head coach of the Regina Pats. Paddock did just say they will provide Bedard with a great supporting cast, players and a coach. Just stop it. Just stop it. Devin Pacilo in Burns Lake, BC says the ladies at the farmers market in Dauphin have confirmed that Barry Trotz will receive cabbage for life if he coaches the Winnipeg Jets.
Hot damn!
That might be the best one yet.
Oh, no. Ted in Red Deer. Any story that starts with, I was still drinking then, has to be great. It was great. Back to today's breaking news, because I say we could sit here and talk about fake news about the NHL and hockey all day, just like they do about the NFL in America. We could do that. But there is breaking news. Led by Canadian quarterback Nathan Rourke, the BC Lions swept the CFL's top performer honors for week 1 of the season. Rourke's teammates, running back James Butler and defensive back TJ Lee, were also honored for their contributions to the BC Lions' season-opening 59-15 rout of visiting Edmonton on Saturday. Trust me, we're going to talk more and more and more CFL as we work our way towards the weekend in week 2. But Nathan Rourke was 26 of 29 passing for 282 yards, 3 touchdowns, rushed for 2. And it says here, Darren, the Victoria native was just as dangerous on the ground, rushing for 78 yards. But you just had Mike Richards on set. He's from Oakville. Like, at some point, they're going to have to settle this. This is the emerging story in the CFL so far this year. And that's what we love about non-fake news, that they play and stuff comes off it in these fun offshoots. Can we say he's from both? Can you do that? He wouldn't be the first guy like that.
But they're not even close. Like, I get it. Randall Gelich was a young, hot player from Elfrost, right? Went to play in the Detroit Red Wings farm system, but it was always a stickler for the community of 300 people in Elfrost that they listed on NHL.com that he was from Wynyard, because that was the bigger center where he played hockey. And at least they were 15 minutes apart, not 2 different sides of the country.
Yeah. This isn't new. This is like Jarrett Stoll. Is he from Neudorf? Is he from Lanigan? Is he from Yorkton? Where, a lot of towns will lay claim to these guys, and I would like to once and for all settle, where's Nathan Rourke from? Because apparently he's going to Hamilton to the Hall of Fame. That is the sense that we're getting here through the first week of the CFL season. Anyways, you see that we're having a lot of fun today. We will be talking NFL later with Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. Load them up. The comments, the texts, whatever you want to talk about, we're here for it on the RP Show. Game Plus Television Network, YouTube live streaming, and of course, 24-hour sports radio streaming now at rodpeterson.com.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Peterson Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Peterson Show now.
Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders.
Some of the challenges we face with the CT technology that we have today is some of the deficiencies in around integration with some of our other systems. The addition of 2 new 4D simulators within the programming. The Saskatchewan Cancer Agency is going to have significant impact on the care we provide to the people of Saskatchewan.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Every kitchen is a restaurant-ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital GMC. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a GM-certified pre-owned vehicle that's on our lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital GMC. Your adventure starts here.
Nestled in the scenic Qu'Appelle Valley, just 20 minutes northwest of Regina, is one of the finest golf courses in all of Saskatchewan, the Deer Valley Golf Club. The clubhouse has a full-service restaurant, and customers can enjoy a casual dining experience with spectacular views of the golf course and valley. A fully stocked golf shop, staffed by PGA of Canada professionals, is equipped to meet all of your golf apparel and equipment needs. Book your tee time, family event, or corporate tournament today at the Deer Valley Golf Club. Call 306-731-1445.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services, and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
It is the most interactive show on television and streaming, the RP Show. And I asked our viewers, we got a full almost 20 minutes here to pick up the phone or whatever device you use to text and write us. 902-518-3033. The number's on the screen, 902-518-3033. I would prefer it to be a new viewer that's never texted us before. You're watching from anywhere in North America on Game Plus TV, all 10 provinces in 31 states, including the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida. We are asking our viewers as we bring the Moose in here, what sources have you heard that Barry Trotz, which team he'll be signing with? Producer Clark has written in, and I like this one, and I have thoughts on it, Darren. He says, Producer Clark here, I've heard the St. Boniface Old Folks Home have offered Trotz free accommodations for his remaining days following his NHL coaching career if he signs with the Jets. Now, you laugh, people. Have you seen the tab? You probably haven't, Darren, of these retirement communities. I would be scrambling to sign on the dotted line if I had my accommodations for the rest of my life taken care of.
Done deal.
It's over $5,000 a month, dude. That's a hell of an offer. What's he waiting for?
Yeah, that's a great deal.
Hey, I see that people have written in here with the CFL Power Rankings. I haven't seen them, the Week 2 Power Rankings, so send them to me. I don't know what they are. I was going to the text line here. Kenny Gill is watching Moose in Scranton, Pennsylvania right now. And he writes in and he says, regarding the Lakers documentary, Winning Time, which we're going to go back and watch again because I loved it that much. He says, Jeff Pearlman is the writer of the book that the Lakers show is based off of. It's called Showtime. I know that. I'm just reading his text. He says, Jeff also wrote other great sport books, one being about the original USFL. He is about to release a book on Bo Jackson. He would be a great interview on the show. And I agree with that. Producer Clark, can you write down Jeff Pearlman? I'd like to talk to him, but I'll never forget Darren. He wrote the book, Boys Will Be Boys. I'm the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, my team. And I remember reading it going, I shouldn't know this. You know what I mean? About what went on. Like, I wonder almost where he gets his information. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm like, I'd rather not know this stuff. So that's the disclaimer. Was there anything in the Winning Time documentary that you would prefer to have not known?
No, because I didn't grow up in that era. So I wasn't a fan of the team. I wasn't following the team. So it's not like, for me, I'm just getting the whole story. I mean, there's the stuff happening at the pool and different things going on. And, you know, maybe if I was a big Jerry Buss fan or if I was a big fan of the Lakers at that time, there may or may not be things that I would want to know. But sometimes you just want to be a fan. But in this case, I'm watching this, you know, excited about every detail. It's kind of cool.
Well, I say it again. Well, okay. Thank you, John Ohm, for that comment. I'll get to it in a minute. If you want to see how sports teams work, winning ones and potentially losing ones, watch Winning Time. And I'll just give you an example. There was a period, and I don't think you got to it yet in the series, but where they couldn't decide on who the coach was going to be because one coach got sick and they had two assistants because the one coach got sick and couldn't coach. So the owner, Jerry Buss, this is a true story, went to Jerry West, who was basically a consultant with the team, and said, well, Jerry, you played for this team. You coached this. Who should I hire? And he's like, you can't ask me that. That's your job. You're the owner. It's unfair to put that on me. You see what I'm saying? It comes at, eventually the buck stops with the owner, and he's got to make the tough decisions. And that's how I respect Jerry Buss as a businessman and a sports owner, because he made the right decisions and went on to all those NBA titles as a guy that really knew nothing about basketball, it seemed, before he bought a team. And by the way, that happens a lot. Now, from a sports perspective here, well, this is all sport, but a Canadian sports perspective, John Ohm says Andrew Wiggins sets a single-game points record by a Canadian in the NBA Finals. I got to be careful with how I get to walk down this road here. On one hand, I feel like we need to get over the Canadian inferiority when it comes to sports. On the other hand, I guess we need to celebrate it. I don't know where we're at here. But Mike Richards last hour, if you were watching, agreed with me. I just sensed that we are on the cusp of something really special in Canadian sport. Just a renaissance, if you will. And, an example of that is Mike's radio station in Mississauga, Sauga 960. They're broadcasting Ticats radio broadcast after they weren't on the radio at all, I don't think, last year. They got CEBL rights there. In Edmonton, the CEBL Stingers are now on TSN 1260. There's that. Wiggins sets a record for a Canadian. And my point on this is I don't know, because I am Canadian, but I don't really care who knows whether I'm a Canadian or not. I don't care. I'm not racist, so I think I can say this. It was a really big deal for Roy Shivers and Danny Barrett, whom I worked with, and I love Danny. Don't necessarily love Roy, but I know him well enough. It was a big deal that they were the first ever black tandem coach and GM in pro football history, right? And I'm sitting there going, but I thought we weren't supposed to single you guys out. Why does it matter, you know? You know what I'm saying? On one hand, it's offensive. On the other hand, we want it supported. I don't know. Should it matter that he's a Canadian quarterback? Is that a swear word or not? I don't know what's right. I don't know what people are going to gravitate to.
I know. It's really tough. And, I think, we, in the whole equality thing, we make light of it, we make mention of it now, not so that it can be fixed now, so that the next generation, it can be fixed. So we're going to talk about it so that the next generation doesn't have to, right? I think that's the case, and hopefully this means we're seeing it, more Canadians starring in the NBA, which was predominantly an American league and an international league. Hopefully this means more Canadians getting an opportunity to play quarterback at a pro football level, and we don't talk about it. But unfortunately, it's so rare that we have to make a mention of it.
Yeah, well, it just seems like Nathan Rourke, from what I hear from young Canadian football players, just very early on in Nathan's CFL career, is already an inspiration to young Canadian quarterbacks. So, I mean, yeah, I guess we should. But, again, John Ohm says, I think we need to celebrate Canadians in sports that are dominated by Americans. But why does it need to be just sports? I mean, growing up, I'll betray my age here. But you lived in the same time, or like different decades, but same story. Like Dan Aykroyd, he's Canadian, Jim Carrey, he's Canadian, John Candy, he's Canadian, We always had to point that out. Yeah. And are we still in a time? You don't see people with Justin Bieber going, he's Canadian, You don't. So I can't. I never know what's right, and I get flamed for anything anyways. How about this one? Can I just... Mad Monkey Studio. That's the account on the chat. Mad Monkey Studio, A Journey into Clay. That's the account. Writes, my husband Ted in Red Deer said I wouldn't get a shout-out on your show. Bet me he'd make supper and do dishes if I did. Help a sister out and let's get Ted making supper. Enjoy the show. Ted makes supper. Ted makes supper. What's it going to be, Ted? What's it going to be? I made it here last night, and it was ground turkey taco salad. It was amazing. Probably going to be again.
Hey, I made that last week.
Sorry. I could eat it every day. I could eat it every day. Daryl in Sherwood Park says Pam Anderson equals Canadian equals BC Lions and Labatt Scout. Pam Anderson, she's Canadian, Like,
why do
Jeff
you...
the Stamps... Yeah.
If I can.
What?
Why?
Yeah.
Why the John Lynch voice when you say it? Because I'm hearing John Lynch. She's Canadian,
Why the voice? Because that is my de facto default old white Canadian man.
Yeah.
Voice.
Yeah.
I like it.
By the way, Randy in Winnipeg says, Ted, order taco time. How about that? Jeff the Stamps fan says, considering a Canadian quarterback has not started in this league in 50 years, it should be mentioned. Come on, Jeff the Stamps fan. You know better than that. I've called the games. Brandon Bridge, when he started for Montreal, and he started for Saskatchewan. I called them both. Bridge, Julio Caravata, Greg Vaver, obviously, 50 years. Jeff, are you exaggerating? Nathan Rourke is not the first Canadian in 50 years to start a game in the CFL. I would like to think that you know better. John Ohm, who seems like a bit of a... We met him at our meet and greet at Hooters in Winnipeg. He says, by celebrating Canadians, it's opening doors possibly for the youth. Yeah. I got to think about that a little more. Because when I was growing up, and I meant to text my brother today and I forgot just how many exact miles our farm is south of Regina. But when I was growing up on that farm, let's say 34 miles south of Regina. You've been there, Moose. There ain't a lot. Yeah. I didn't look up at the Canadians that were doing much and think that could be me. I looked up at Howard Cosell and thought that could be me. Yeah. It was never a nationality thing, but again, that's just me. But we all know who put Timmins, Ontario on the map. With apologies to Dave Poulin, it was Shania Twain. And I remember thinking that her band was entirely Canadian, and I was playing musical instruments as a lad, guitar, and the piano. And I thought, well, maybe I could make it. But then very quickly thought, I don't think I want to.
But where it might have an opportunity, Rod, for the kids is, with the Ohio Bobcats program or Penn State where Michael O'Connor played, or I'm at another university that, plays a lot of games or in the same conference as Ohio. And I'm thinking to my scouting staff, hey, guys, we should go up to Canada and look at these quarterbacks. There's some good ones up there. We should at least make a day or two to go and look at some Canadian quarterbacks. And that's how the kids can get the opportunity, not from the kids dreaming that it's possible, because I'm with you. They'll look at Tom Brady and think, if I work hard enough, it's possible.
Right. It's just such a, well, and of course the threat of being canceled hangs over us all, public people and those in the broadcast industry. But if I were referring to, that young immigrant girl that works at this place, and you go, well, why do you got to say it's an immigrant? It's a double-sided slope. Why do we got to say he's Canadian? Right? Because it depends on what day and what stage the moon's in. And Phil Kershaw, and thank you for watching, Phil, former chairman of the CFL Board of Governors, should be in the Riders Hall of Fame. He says Jerry Buss also owned the Kings, didn't like hockey, sold them to Bruce McNall, and this led to Gretzky being traded to LA, changed NHL history. Well, there's another documentary I'd like to see. That specific one, because there's the King's Ransom, of course, but they're telling you it from the Oilers' perspective. I'd like to get it from the King's perspective. John Ohm says, Rod, who inspired you the most in broadcasting? We'll talk about that in overtime because we got to bring in our good friend Zig Fracassi next. What a great show today, Moose. We'll see you in 10 or so.
You bet.
Smoke him if you got him. It's the RP Show, broadcasting from South Florida and the NHL's Bermuda Triangle. You're watching on Game Plus TV, live streaming on YouTube, and if you missed any portion of the show, you can always catch the podcast, where all the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Are you ready? It's finally time for your next adventure, and it starts at Capital Ford. Custom order the perfect new vehicle for you, or reserve one of the hundreds that's already built and on its way. Can't wait? Get into a pre-owned vehicle that's already on the lot and ready to rock. Plus, the American Export event is back and bigger than ever. We'll send your vehicle south, making you the most money for your trade. Guaranteed. Oh, and for a limited time, all name brand tires are employee priced. Only at Capital Ford Lincoln. Your adventure starts here.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Does this look familiar? Your fans deserve an incredible arena experience. It's time for an upgrade. Stunning graphics. Revenue opportunities are just the beginning with our in-venue display systems and scoring technology. Let us help you find the best solution for your facility. DDG. Always delivering the best fan experience. Find us at ddgregina.com.
Captain Alberta, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders.
Here's how your business can be a part of Canada's fastest growing sports talk show. All you have to do is contact us, and we will tell you all about the dynamic and exciting marketing opportunities we have, utilizing a fully integrated 360-degree multi-platform. Imagine your business seen and heard across Canada on Game Plus TV and around the world on the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. You will use one of the most overused expressions in sports. You gotta be kidding me. Get your business involved. Contact the Rod Pedersen Show today.
It is the RP Show, brought to you in part by Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. To schedule maintenance or to learn more about our services, call 306-781-2090 or visit us at broncoplumbing.com. Well, it's not really the slow part of the calendar in the National Football League, as there never really is. OTAs, mini camps, and of course training camps coming up in August. But there's always something to talk about with our good friend Ziggy Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. And Zig, listen, man, good to see you. What's going on with you today, bro?
The Josh Allen experience, Rod. There it is.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. Are you allowed to be? I thought you were a Cowboys fan, dude. What's up with that?
Oh, I am. But you know what I did? I was born and raised in Niagara Falls, New York. Half Canadian, by the way. I saw your rant a little bit
Top
earlier.
half or bottom half? Top half or bottom half?
Bottom half.
How about that?
Although
Gotcha.
Rainbow Bridge, Dorchester Road, Lundy's Lane, I know the whole 9 yards, my friend. So,
listen, well, hey,
go ahead.
Go ahead. No. Listen, I want to go down the Dolphins road in a second, but first, because you've been on NFL radio for so long, and I got buddies that work on NHL radio. You're my NFL buddy guy, but I got friends on NHL radio that say they're not allowed to show an allegiance.
Yeah.
Well, Matthew Barnaby is one, right? And
yes. Steve
Cooley. It's those guys that don't come into New York. Scott Laughlin. But how are you with showing your allegiances on the network, and how are you with the fans when you do that, or the teams themselves?
You know what, Rod? I think I'm honest about it. Like, for example, I'm a Boston Bruins fan. We could do 3 hours just on what's gone on in that offseason. Cowboys fan, again, they were on TV more than the Bills ever were growing up. But, let's face it, that was the local team. I was at the first ever game at then Rich Stadium. They beat the Jets 9-7 in 1973. Saw O.J. Simpson up close. So I preface it. I'm like, I think I've got a record now of saying I do like a team, but I'm always objective, and I will call it the way I see it. And like people listen, like for my Cowboys discussion, quite honestly, Rod, they got manhandled against the 49ers. I tell it just like it is. So street cred.
Yeah, you've got a lot of it. You absolutely do. Now, to the Dolphins thing, and I'm inspired by the love of the Miami Dolphins in South Florida, and frankly, for most of the state. But here was the poll today, Zig, on WQAM radio, the voice of the Dolphins. In what week does Tua lose his starting job?
Oh, my gosh.
This poor guy. Oh, I know. This is on the station rights holder. Like, your thoughts on Tua, and would you even want to play this is like a Baker Mayfield Browns sort of thing developing down here.
Well, let's make it abundantly clear, Rod, that it's Tua time or else. And, they've upgraded the personnel around him, even though he's on the left side of the line. Teron Armstead, a very solid add to the line. Obviously, you make the King's ransom trade for Tyreek Hill. So now you pair him with Weddle. You've got a good tight end in Gesicki. You're hoping the ground game comes around a little bit. So I think there is reason to be optimistic in Miami. And you're hoping, obviously, with the first-year coach McDaniel, who's considered an innovator. So hopefully that turns out well for them. The defense has been solid. I like the Ingram addition. I like the drafting of Tyndall. I think he's got a chance to play right away. But you're down there in South Florida, Rod. Alex Marvez and I discussed this on the show Sunday. I don't know if you saw Dave Hyde's piece in the South Florida Sun-Sentinel. There was a scenario where the Dolphins were looking to bring in Sean Payton, have Vic Fangio run the defense, and then have some guy named Brady as the quarterback. Now, think if all of that went down. Now, this all obviously fell apart when Brian Flores decided to sue the NFL and the teams involved there. So if you get a chance to read that, and we discussed that ad nauseum on Sunday, and we had Dave on, just how close that actually was to happening down there with the Miami Dolphins.
Dude, not only did I read it, but they're saying it fell apart. Brian Flores got wind of this plan, and that's what led to the lawsuit. And he successfully did make it all fall apart, and blood is on the hands of one Stephen Ross. Beyond that, there are other stories, and I don't think you get tired of talking about them. I mean, the Baker Mayfield thing in Cleveland, does he play there? I guess to back that up chronologically, does Deshaun Watson play in the NFL in 2022, or is it fake news that he may not?
I don't think there's anything fake about it at all, Rod. I mean, now, what is it? There's a report yesterday that there's 2 more suits coming. So the last time I checked now, that's going to be 26. So I think there is a real possibility that Watson, and let's go back to last year when the Houston Texans essentially paid Watson not to play. So that was not a suspension per se, but now Goodell could put him, the commissioner Roger Goodell could put him on the exempt list, or could say that he is suspended for an entire year, because you might have more, Rod, of these civil suits coming out. So it's conceivable it could be 2 years in a row Watson does not play an NFL snap, with this year being a suspension by the league. Now, where does Baker tie into this? I don't know if he wants to. He would go back to Cleveland at this point, because basically the Browns said to him, well, hey, you're not good enough, but now we got to come back to you hat in hand and say, look, we need you to save our ass this year. I don't know if that happens, although if Baker took the other side and said, all right, I will do this, but you give me the assurance you will trade me, maybe that enhances his value to other teams going down the road. Again, that maybe is a little bit of wishful thinking. They do have Jacoby Brissett on their roster, Rod, so I don't think we've heard the last of this scenario yet involving the Cleveland Browns and whoever's going to be the quarterback. I can tell you it won't be Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, well, don't count your chickens. And by the way, Jacoby Brissett was here last year, and the Dolphins couldn't win a game with him until Tua came back, as you know. So that's not really much of an option. But as far as free agent guys out there, who's on the street, Zig? And what other options besides Baker do they have?
Oh, geez. In terms of quarterbacks, I don't.
Yeah.
Gosh, I don't even
Not that
know.
many.
I mean, no, there really aren't. I mean, I don't even know. This shows you the dearth of quarterbacks that there are. I suppose if he unretired, you'd always have a good guy like a Josh McCown come out of retirement. But there's really, everything's kind of picked clean. Now, you may have like a JPP or other positions around the National Football League that, higher veteran minimum, that kind of thing in terms of other positions. But quarterbacks, there is just an absolute dearth of them right now.
Like when Ryan Fitzpatrick can retire, nobody could coax him out of retirement. I'm just saying, the free agency period is gone.
Could be.
Mitch Trubisky. Well, yeah, for sure. Trubisky's with the Steelers, and he was the best of what was a bad lot. So again, this is just Cleveland being Cleveland, right? But what's keeping you busy on the NFL calendar right now, Zig?
Well, we had this week, Rod, we had 18 teams with their mandatory mini camps. So this weekend, we'll do an extensive review of both the AFC and NFC in terms of what did your team do in the off season. And then obviously we're getting closer now towards the actual training camps. And I'm sure we'll have, some other news. I mentioned, there could be another wave of free agency. Some of the higher price guys may settle in on 1-year deals around the National Football League. So even though we are in the off season, my friend, we are never in the off season.
No, and that's what's awesome about it. And by the way, hey, come this fall, if you ever need a guy in South Florida to come on and shoot the breeze with you, Ziggy, I can do it. They were so upset with Flores being fired, right? I think you and I talked about that in December. Nobody could figure out why. And now we know why, because the owner wanted Sean Payton. Like, it is just unreal. And as far as the Brady thing, they're obsessed with Tom Brady around here. He's building a house here, right? They're talking about him being a potential owner here. We saw Tom, he was at the Miami Grand Prix F1 thing. So it was all lining up. It's just so, it doesn't even seem real. It seems like soap opera stuff.
It does. And, the legal matter is still in play here, Rod. I mean, what if it was determined that Stephen Ross was offering Brian Flores, money to lose games? I mean, my gosh, now you're talking about a whole nother Pandora's box about integrity, and especially now with the gambling being so mainstream, in the United States, there's always suspicions. Well, geez, what happened with this game? How come they cover the points at the last second or what have you? It really brings up a suspicion about this and what Mr. Ross is ultimately trying to do here. So it is quite a scenario for a franchise, Rod. I mean, at one time they were model. Don Shula, of course, Joe Robbie ran it. They had those Super Bowl teams, but unfortunately, it's become a shell of itself, and they, haven't won a playoff game, I think, in 100 years, it seems, and they still haven't replaced Dan Marino, for goodness sakes.
It was a long time ago, that time you were talking about, Zig, but I can tell you this, they still love the Dolphins in the Miami area. Great visit. Keep up the awesome work, my friend. Thanks for the time today.
Always thank you, and congrats to you for what you've been able to do with this show. It's been an honor and a privilege being with you. And hey, you got to make it up to the studio again. Maybe I'll give you the dime tour of the Howard Studios. All right.
Maybe they'll open the door this time. Yeah, that would be awesome, Ziggy. Thank you, my man.
All right, buddy.
Thanks for being on the show. Zig Fracassi from SiriusXM NFL Radio. Maybe when we come back, I'll tell you that story about Ziggy and I rolling around the studios of SiriusXM in Manhattan. That was a great day. We'll be right back with Taco Time Viewer Takeover. You're watching the RP Show on the Game Plus TV network, YouTube live streaming, and you can always catch the podcast wherever the best podcasts are found, including Apple, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now.
Is it time to take your event online? Bring it to IKS Live. We've got a fully customized virtual event platform with remote guest support for your next fundraiser, talk show, conference, performance, and more. IKS Live offers live streaming to Facebook Live and YouTube and pre-recorded capabilities, both in our studio with green screen available and on location with pre-production and post-production services. Visit us at ikslive.ca.
A legend throws 713 yards in a single pro football game.
A legend wins 3 Grey Cup MVP awards.
Allen looking deep. A legend scores 1,209 points in 1,127 NHL games. Play among legends at betregal.net.
Kitchen is a restaurant. Ish. With Cavendish Farms restaurant-style fries.
People donate blood for moments like this.
But there are lots of reasons why Canada's Lifeline needs donors every day.
Like the fact that someone with leukemia can need up to 8 units of blood a week.
Or that donated blood lasts no longer than 42 days.
Or to help new moms and babies, like Henry.
There's lots of reasons to donate blood. That's why we need donors every day.
The need for blood is constant. Join Toyota and our Toyota dealers in supporting Canada's Lifeline.
Universal Collision Center is Saskatchewan's premier auto body shop. Our extensive process ensures that every vehicle that comes through our state-of-the-art facilities is returned pre-accident condition, and that every UCC customer experience is an easy one. We're certified to repair all makes, all models, and all luxury brands, and Universal Auto Spa offers full-service detailing packages to suit you and your vehicle. Plus, we're the official body shop of your Saskatchewan Rough Riders. Universal Collision Center, 3910 Rochdale Boulevard and 2355 First Avenue in Regina.
Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Experts in all residential and commercial plumbing services and proudly serving Regina and area since 1978. Bronco Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We'll treat you right.
Capital, here they come. Welcome your Bull Riders.
Business owners and marketers. Okay, we know you think we're pretty cool. That's why we want you to share in the coolness factor. Partner with The Rod Pedersen Show and market your business every weekday to sports lovers just like yourself. Take advantage of our many cost-effective commercial and promotional opportunities. Tell the world about your business. Yes, the world. Thanks to Game Plus TV and the Rod Pedersen Digital Network. Contact us today and find out how you can be a part of Canada's fastest-growing sports talk show, The Rod Pedersen Show.
Okay, we're live, and it is Taco Time Viewer Takeover, and it's like we don't have enough time to get into everything, I don't think. Again, Taco Time Viewer Takeover. It's Taco Tuesday at the over 120 Taco Time locations across Canada. There's always one near you, I would suggest. $2 tacos all day. Biggest question you will face, hard or soft shell, beef or veggie. Let's bring in the moose now, because I favor the deep fried, the crisp. They used to call it crisp meat, I think. Now they call it, what do they call it now? Crisp beef? I don't know. It's the same thing.
Crisp beef. I know, and I was there last week, and I'll tell you this. So I ordered a bunch of chicken or beef tacos and chicken tacos, and they said, well, chicken's not on the $2 taco, just beef. And I'm like, well, what else? They're like veggies or beans. I had a couple of the bean tacos. Really good, by the way.
Next
really
level, I assume.
Yeah,
I assume. Yeah, next
yeah.
level. Quickly, well, Kristen Orvis is watching. As Kristen says, watching live. Female Kristen says, watching live from Winnipeg via Game Plus TV network. We love our Winnipeg viewers. And she has sent in the CFL Power Rankings. And it's knocked over the bell. The gong. Number one, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And I feel terrible. We never answered the guy's question yesterday. He said, can Winnipeg win a third consecutive Grey Cup? Well, the answer to that is yes, they can. And judging by last Friday night, they probably will. But the Saskatchewan Roughriders are number 2. That's up a spot or 2. Toronto Argonauts are number 3. They haven't even played yet. I think they went up a spot and they didn't even play. Figure that one out. At number 4, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Thank you, Hamilton, again. Very quickly becoming my favorite East Division team after having me on their podcast yesterday. The Hamilton Tiger Cats. Number 5, the Ottawa Red Blacks. They lost, and I believe they jumped like 3 spots. What are these guys drinking today? The BC Lions are 6th. The Calgary Stampeders have dropped like a stone to 7th. The Montreal Alouettes are 8th. Even though they went into Calgary and almost won. And number 9, 10, and 11, the Edmonton Elks. So I'm just going to put that there. Do you have any thoughts on? I don't agree with them, but I never agree with them. That's part of why I'm not writing for the website
BC Lions are sitting there thinking that, what do we got to do? Score 80 points to move up? So I'm surprised Calgary and Montreal both moved down like they did. I think Ottawa showed really well against the defending champs, so they move up. I get that. Hamilton, I wouldn't have put them as high just based on the way they played and just couldn't have a lot of success.
Yeah.
So anyways, the power rankings are always subjective.
Daryl in Sherwood Park. LOL, I love this show. I got to get back to work. You guys are all great Canadian fans. But again, that's not inclusive to our American viewers, of which we have many. That's kind of what I was getting at. Are we inclusive? Are we not? Do we designate people? Do we not? I don't even know anymore. Let's make this clear. Tacona in Winnipeg says, Pam Anderson, he writes in all caps, was discovered at a BC Lions game flashing on CBC. She wasn't flashing. If she had, we'd know. We'd remember that. John goes on to say, well, John, two things. I get you, Rod, on this whole Canadian thing. That gap is slowly disappearing. There should have never been a gap. We're just as good. We're just as good at everything we do, I guess, is the summation of all of this. And John says, Rod, who inspired you the most in broadcasting? We've only got a little over a minute, but I'll say this. Last minute of play in the RP show. Kevin Gallant, the legendary radio voice of the Regina Pats from 1980 to 1988, was probably my first ever hero. My dad worked for the Pats as a scout, brought me up to the press box to meet Kevin, spent an evening in the booth with him. And obviously Bob Cole. People said when I called hockey games, I was a young Bob Cole. So there's that. And Howard Cosell, I read his book, but I followed all of them and took what I liked from all of them. Was there one guy, Darren, that was your broadcasting mentor or whatever?
No,
inspiration?
Same as you. Take a little bit from everybody. Love Bob Cole. Actually consumed a lot of Jim Houston, Joe Buck, Al Mike, all those great guys.
Yeah, absolutely. They're all great. They're all great. Moose, we'll see you tomorrow. What do you say?
You bet. See you tomorrow.
Big fun today. Thank you to Mike Richards, Zig Fracassi from our entire team. Great job, guys. Clark and Jordan, Ryan, and the rest. See you tomorrow.
Wally, don't jump! It's going to be okay!
Have you subscribed to the Rod Pedersen Show YouTube channel yet? Head to youtube.com/The Rod Pedersen Show now. Hot damn! Right on. Hell yes. Bingo! Oh no!